Good afternoon, everyone. Strut Sisters International. We support we support women and girls all over the globe in music, dance, production, instruments, everything. So my name is Karen Autumn Rose Smith, and today we're talking about keep my name out your mouth. Your mouth will get you uninvited when you're trying to get work as a musician, producer, singer, ballet dancer. Your mouth will get you in trouble. So we're going to start with how that can happen.
And yeah, we got like all the Fret sisters here too.
We have Genny Jam out of the DMV, USA. We have Lacole Rose out of the ATL. We have Shorny Shorn Marshall out of Philly. And I am from two sister cities, Greenville, South Carolina, and New York City, and sometimes California. Anyway, so ladies, let's start talking about how musicians get fired before hired because of how they talk to the producers, the managers, the music directors, and even fellow musicians.
Sorry, I'm babysitting a dog, and he's kind of loud. he was barking at my son.
The pets, you have to love them.
Yeah, I know, sorry. So I put myself on mute.
Yeah, I have both of them running around too.
Yeah, but go on.
All right, so my question again is, and this may be offensive to some people, but it's the straight truth. What you say and how you present yourself at a gig or an interview for a gig or an audition will get you uninvited. And this is common more than not, that to be a professional is how you speak. So they won't see you walk in the door and get ready, but when you open your mouth, they'll know who you are. And that's the time when you're supposed to be professional at all times to everyone. And if not, you'll notice that your chops may be great, but say, well, why aren't they calling me back? I wonder why. Was it what I was wearing? Was my makeup? I was tuned. What happened? It's what you say. It's not how you look all the time. It's what you say. So when you open your mouth, they know who you are. Yeah. And that's it.
I think sometimes some people might get a little too personal in business and maybe, well, I'm just going to get right to what I think when we talk about this subject, but there's some people out there that low-key hate. They support, but they low-key hate. So they're talking about maybe other people in, different musical situations, that whoever they played with, who's ever, whatever band they were in before. And like things happen, things always happen as a musician. You always get into some situation where people aren't nice, or a band leader might be saying something weird, or an artist might want something and maybe snapped at you or another musician, and then you're sitting there and you're talking about that and maybe not naming names or maybe naming names, but like that kind of stuff, I think kind of is like a disease, or kind of puts this ugliness around you if you like that person. And then people talk about you and they're like, well, she says a lot about this and says a lot about that, or he or she, and it doesn't make you look good as a person that somebody would want to hire.
Exactly. Just so Lacole or Shorny Shorn, you have anything to add to that? What Genny Jam said?
I kind of agree with Jen. But other things like social media is kind of like a preliminary before you even do an in-person audition or anything that get hired, especially like how people post, whatever they post on their social media. Some might be offensive to some people, or yes, they like to brag and throw it in people's faces. And I think that one can get a person not getting hired for it, because they might put something up that's inappropriate and it's not part of the the band or the artist's brand to have someone that represents them to play behind them. So that's kind of like one of my opinions about why people they're messy. Social media is like CNN. I'm gonna tell you that it's CNN, and it's straight up messy.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of that when Shorny Shorn, when you said that. So the difference between a live conversation, an argument, or chatter or gossip live, what's different about social media is you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. You can't unring that bell. Once it's out there on social media, it's out there forever. But when you're in person, you could go and apologize and say, I was out of character. I spoke out of school. I'm sorry. And that could be forgiven. But when the world sees what you write on social media, you sound like a child. You sound like you're upset. You sound like you're jealous, envious, hating, and you look unprofessional, and you always will be, and you'll always be talked about. So that's my opinion on those two, the difference of in person and social media. Hey, Lacole Rose, what do you think about the topic we're talking about? Keep my name out your mouth. What you say will get you uninvited.
Let me be PC. No, that's not me. I won't do that. Listen, I think, especially in today's time, cancel culture is very huge. Okay, they can get you for stuff that you said 20 years ago and bring it back up that you may have tweeted, may have said. And people read between the lines as very passive aggressive. If you're going to get online and say something about anybody, or if you're going to be in a gig and say something about somebody, most likely you won't get that gig again. So might as well be up front and say, this is what happened with this person, this is what happened with that person, because you don't know who knows whom. And you can get around the wrong type of people who may hype you up and say, hey, that's great. And as soon as you leave that person, they're going back to the person you were talking about, and you're still out of the gig.
Exactly.
Separate work, like you said, from personal. Okay? All of us have had jobs and gigs and just regular everyday jobs. You may not get along with all those people all the time, but you do your job and you leave. And if you have a gripe, you talk with your personal friends about that. So I think people need to separate online. It's like Shorn said, it's CNN. It's CNN, but in high school. So let's keep that in mind.
And even if you do something like that and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to delete it. Like, dude, sorry. But it's already on there and it's probably been captured. And you're right about cancel culture too, Lacole, about that, people have screenshots and screen captures or videos from back then. So yeah, I mean, it can hurt you. But even like, not even on a celebrity level, but like even on a local level, that I feel like if you said something 10 years ago about anything derogatory or whatever, you're probably that kind of person, period, and you can't change. I mean, if somebody's sitting here bad-mouthing a gig that they had, yet they're like, oh yeah, but I support this and I support that, but they're bad-mouthing, and you're, maybe you've been told, like, don't say that stuff on social media. I mean, I don't think the person could ever change. I don't think it's something that somebody will change. It's always going to be, they're that type of person, period, like whether in a professional sense or a personal sense. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I feel.
I mean, growth is possible. I mean, I don't want to be held accountable for things I've said 10 years ago or 15 years ago. But if something I said 10 minutes ago, we have an issue. But I mean, even though I understand people's emotions get with them, and you start, vomiting out everything you want, and it may not be the right source or the right place to do that. I understand. So I mean, like Autumn said, things can be forgiven, but things doesn't necessarily have to be forgotten. Okay, so just learn your place to say certain things,
Right, exactly. Like we just said, it's best to go back to your home, your family, because it won't get out. They won't hear it again. So whatever you have, whatever gripe you have, disagreements you have, when you're in a professional setting, and this applies to our jobs, or go home and speak to your spouse, your children, your pets, anyone, your best friend that's not associated with the organization or the people you're going to be working for. Doesn't matter. Just keep quiet. You don't like something, keep it to yourself. Just work. And then go home and let it go at home. Because once you say something at there, you don't know who knows who. Like you said, Lacole and Sean and Genny, you don't know who knows who. And you're going to be looked at as the crybaby. Oh, you're whining. Oh, you're so difficult to work with. Oh, don't call her. Oh, goodness, she's a headache. And that's how you looked at. So just keep it. It's hard for a lot of us. We want to say, oh man, I really didn't like how they treated me. We've all been there. And then you just pack up your stuff, you go home, and you speak to someone else because you don't want it to. Yeah, you don't. Your therapist, exactly. Your doctor, your pastor, anyone, your best friend, but you don't want that to leak out because it's your character they're looking at. And that's it. That's what That's
the most important, that not only if you're the musician that's like, I want to get out there and grab those gigs, because, you're seeing a lot of people because social media got really big, a lot of unknown players have been getting these huge gigs. So if you want to be that type of person to get those gigs, it's your attitude, it's what you say on social media, and it's how you act around your people, around even like if you play church, around those people, because those are the ones that might refer you to a friend and a friend, so it's really your attitude. And I hate to say it, what you say in social media. And social media is really important.
Do you all think that you can get to a level where that doesn't apply? Like a certain level of, even at work, like the president of a company, or a certain amount of stardoms where like people deal with it because of who you are. No?
I don't. I mean, I think I can say just being out there for a long time, and this is in a corporate setting job and a musician, that back then maybe it was tolerated. But I think now, with the way the world is now and how open-minded everything is, and how, we're embracing a lot of everything, of people and different genders and all this kind of stuff, that I think it's not tolerated anymore. And if you're that type of person, I think it's just better to stay away from those type of topics, whatever opinions you have. It's probably better. And I guess I can say an example just on a national level on TV is, something like American Idol or The Voice. I think, I watch those still to this day because I love type competitions like that. But I've noticed that there have been certain contestants that have been booted out because they posted something on social media like 5 years ago or 3 years ago or something like that, like racist stuff, or just propaganda type theories, these type of like things where like, I'm just talking about the issues today. I don't really want to get into it because I don't really want this to be a political thing, but I'm just saying that, there have been contestants on some of these programs where they've been booted out because of something that they said. And it could be something 5 years ago, or it could be something like a year ago that I guess these producers didn't background check. So I mean, I don't think it's tolerated. And in the workplace, I know in my workplace, it is not tolerated. I mean, if you have any type of like issues, that may hurt somebody or hurt anything, sexual harassment, all that kind of stuff, man, you are out. They don't care. You got something posted on the video and you're doing something, you're saying something racist or something crazy, then you're out,
That's extreme. That's extreme. Like, say you get somebody on the gig, like this is an example, someone you always looked up to, a guitar player. I'm not gonna say any names, someone you've always looked up to. You get, or even a pianist, whatever, any kind of musician, you get to work with them, and they turn out to be an ass, just like up the utmost. Are you gonna stop working that gig? Are you gonna tell people not to work with that person? Or because they're on that level, would you say, hey, this is a good gig, they pay good, they do this, but this person is an ass. I just want you to know that.
That's, that's a good question. Actually, that's really good. I think that me personally, if I knew somebody that was on the same gig with me that had that type of attitude, it's not my business to let the artist know. They're the ones, or the MD. Actually, it would be the MD that would be hiring these people. And if I knew that they're kind of different, or the interaction, like if they were mean on their, well, you know what? They're tearing themselves down with their attitude. I'm doing my job. I'm there. I'm focused to do my work. I'm not there to, call out anybody or say, yeah, this person, that, unless they ask my opinion. They're like, what do you think of this person? I'll be like, yeah, well, I mean, to me, I'm not there to bring anybody down. I don't care if it's, if you're a bad player or you got a bad attitude. I'm there to keep my job. So that's me. I don't know how you all feel, but I don't they can find out themselves and they can do the firing, but I'm not going to be involved. And that's how I am on the job too. I don't get involved in any rumors or anything like that. I stay out of all that because I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to be part of that cancer or talking behind people's back. Like Autumn said, you go home and you talk to your people about it. You rant and rave there, but yeah, you don't do it inside the workplace.
Yeah, I had that situation at a Nationals gig, Grammy artist playing behind him, orchestra, and a person, I'm not going to name any names, a person that got me the gig, the music director called me and said, what do you think? They can't do this, they can't do that. And I did not support that. And it's happened on a few times. And I said, well, they're wonderful people. I don't care what someone else thinks about how someone else plays or how they carry themselves. You don't support that, and you just let it go. You act like, what are you talking about? That's what I did. I'm like, I don't know. I don't understand what you mean, and I know what they were saying. But once they say that to me and I agree, then you never know what's going to get back. But first of all, I didn't agree. But even if I did, I just said, oh, really? Oh, wow. I didn't know they're wonderful people. And that's how it goes. I'm going to just kind of not switch, but I'm going to just move to something else that I know about keeping. You want to say something, Lacole?
No, Shorn, you had to say something.
Shorn, you had to say something about that?
Well, even though I don't have experience about that situation, that's like a lesson that need to be learned. If I learn from other musicians that been to the situation, it's like, okay, the music world may be large, but it may be small, but you will see the same people around the same circles. Just don't let no one block you from getting your coin.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
Yes, the coins. That's
right. Your coins, your flowers. So yeah, I had to share that because I just remembered I did that. I'm going to ask you ladies another thing about when you speak. When they ask you how's your family and where do you live, and they want to know all about you. Try to keep that at a minimum, because they will love you, they will care about you. So say you're taking care of an ill parent or a sick child or sick or ill dog or cat or something's going on in your life that you want to share. Try not to share your personal business about your family, what else you do, because they will love you, but they'll say, you know what? Autumn has a very sick mom. We love her, but she may not be reliable. Something may come up. Or so-and-so may have a sick child. They love you. They care about you, but you're not reliable. And that will keep you out of a gig as well. So don't overshare your personal business about your personal health, your own health. Say you're sick with something. They will love you, but they'll go, wow, she's on dialysis, or, and I know that sounds cruel, but again, they will be compassionate, but they will feel you're not reliable only because you have a serious health condition, or your family, or your caretaker, or your child's sick, or something's going on in your life. They will feel that, well, maybe we'll call them, but let's go to someone else that doesn't have any of those issues. That's a true fact.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I even take that to like my regular job, my day gig. I don't even let them know that I'm in a band or that I perform, a lot. And it's not like I'm afraid to do it or I'm ashamed or whatever, but I just feel like that's my personal business. They don't need to know. Now, if they do find out, which they have, they now know, that I play out. Like if they ask me or whatever, they're like, oh yeah, are you a musician? Then I'll say, yeah. And then, I'll tell them, like, if they want to see the band, fine. But I don't sit there and talk about the band all the time or talk about music, because I'm there to design. Like my designing is, I want them to see me as a designer. I don't want them to see me as like, oh yeah, she's a cool musician and whatever, like, because my career is very important to me as a designer, and I deserve that respect, as far as that. So, I don't know if I froze. Did I freeze?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, hold on.
What do you think, Lacole, about that? Your personal business, giving, you have we all have two positions, either a job that's in a different profession other than music, wherever. Everybody's doing it. Either you're teaching or you're a vocal coach, or you're a nurse, whatever it is. Genny Jam all of us wear two hats and sometimes three. But we don't tell, and here it is, we don't tell the left what the right's doing everywhere you go. And especially those gigs, as sensitive as they are to working for a production company or a major artist, actually they don't want to hear about all your personal business. But Lacole, what do you think about that? Have you run into that situation as an artist, a musician, and at your other profession?
Both. But for me, I'm not one to overshare anyway. If you look at any of my social media, I share movies. I share what movie I'm watching, or I share, I don't know what music I'm listening. It's very rare that I share anything personal. And if I do, it's done. People, 9 times out of 10 people won't even know I'm married and have kids when that comes up, because you might just see a picture. My thing is, and this happened to me before. I know maybe it's the people that I've dealt with, the people that come into my life. I don't know. But this happened a couple of times where someone to do something for you, you don't even have to ask. To say, hey, this would be something that you'd be interested in. Do you want to go? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? I'm like, oh, I don't know. And then you do it. And then a couple of months later, it's complaining about all the stuff I've done for this person. Like, hold up, I didn't even ask. You volunteered. But now, so my thing is, at this point, I make sure any doors that I walk in, or even if I'm invited in, I make sure I thoroughly know the person, or we have an understanding, like, hey, or keep, at this point, the way social media is set up, get things in writing. Because people can lie, they do lie, they put 20 on 10, you know what I mean? So I think that keep everything separate. Business is business, friendships are friendships, associates are associates. People are so quick to call people friends, and I think there needs to be a separation from that, you know what I mean? There needs to be a separation from work. If I do a gig, or even if I'm at work, I'm going to be very personable. Hi, how you doing? Hope everything's well, da-da-da-da-da. I play a couple of chords that I know, and I'm leaving. You know what I mean? I'm getting to the point where I was told that if they all go out to dinner, and I say, hey, y'all have fun, that can also be considered an attitude problem. I was told that. I'm like, how is that an attitude problem? They was like, well, you're not a team player. So I was like, they were like, hey, if every time they do something as a group, and you say, hey, you have fun, and y'all go, you can be considered a downer. And I didn't think of it that way either. So they said it's a balance. What do y'all think about that?
Well, see, sometimes we cannot really care about other people's perception of us if we stay private, and I'm not saying secretive, but a lot of us are private, and they can say what they want. But if you don't say anything, they could just speculate and let it go. Yeah.
I was told that can keep me out of gigs, because if we're in a practice or they're doing something and it's over, they say, hey, we're all going out to sub, we're all going to dinner. It's like, hey, y'all have fun. I'm gonna go back to the room, or I'm gonna go home. Y'all have fun. I was told I can be considered a downer, not a good hang.
That's interesting though, because that you said that, Lacole, because I think it might be, but it might also be, I'm not saying you, I'm just taking the instance of, it might be the attitude that they might think that, oh, well, she never wants to go out and she never wants to party with us, or she just likes to be left alone. But I don't know. It really depends on who those other people are. I guess the people that you're working with. I know in one situation when I was out with Climax, sometimes I do want to be by myself, but and I'm rooming with other musicians, and they're like, "Hey, let's go out." And I'm just like, well, I'll just stay here. And they're like, oh, come on, let's go out. And then I'm like, okay, let's go. And then I have the best time of my life with them, So, and it happened twice where I was like, no, I'll stay here because I feel like I don't fit in. Mm-hmm. But then, these musicians are just so like, musicians I work with in Climax they're so great. I love them. But, they're just like, come on. And I'm like, all right. And then we're like going on a scooter, going all around LA, and I never did that before. But, so I think it's just the people that you're with. And I think that if people are telling you that, oh, well, if you're a downer, you're going to lose a gig. Well, maybe it's not the right people, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me say something. There was a gig I had, and I didn't realize it was in my contract that I had to hang out with them after the concert. It was a huge concert. Yeah, it was pretty much written in my agreement. And I was actually after this huge concert, I was tired. I wanted to wash all the makeup off my face. And so the bassist said, hey, we have to go down to this restaurant, this venue, everybody has to show. I said, guys, have a good time. I'm tired. I have to fly out in the morning fly out the next day. And they said, what she told me? She said, no, you have to come out. And I said, oh, I got there because there was press and it was for their social media, that it was after a big concert. We played for big artists and that we had to show there was press there, or I guess, all kind of press. And I didn't realize that, we have to read the fine print that you have to attend all these meetings and for their press people, and you have to go out and enjoy, dining with them, and it's just, you have to look like you're part of the team. Yeah, it was actually in my agreement that I had to attend all these things. Wow. And I said, oh, so I buffed up my makeup and I still had on my outfit from the concert, and we went out. Yeah, sometimes you're required. So you have to suck that up and go.
Yeah.
I'm very so awkward. So if I go out, if we're out for 3 hours, it may take me 2.5 for me to warm up. By the time I'm like, yes, let's go. They're like, we're tired. Like, no, let's do this. So, it takes me a second to warm up. So.
Yeah, I think like if you're going to put yourself in a situation where you are going to be touring and all that kind of stuff, that there might be times where you have to go out, like Autumn says, and just deal with it. But yeah, I don't know. I've known, even like when I went out on the couple tours that I've been on, I've known people that were like, introverts, and they'd stay to themselves, and it really wasn't, I didn't see it as a problem, because again, when I play at some of these gigs, I'm there for the job, and if you guys want to go out and party, yeah, I'll go out, but my focus is the work and stuff. I know we have 4 minutes left, so I guess like we can, say some closing things.
Shorn, you got anything to add or say?
That was shocking, in my opinion, that in the contract that you actually have to go with the band after the performance. That's wow. But I never had those experiences like that at all. But I did have experience when I was in this band, and then after we had a rehearsal, it was like 10, 11 o'clock at night, and it's like, oh, let's go out to a bar, or let's go to a club or something. I'm like, it's 11 o'clock. I gotta go home, be with my band and my kids. And I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm kind of like the oldest out of everybody in the band. I'm like, I just want to go home and sleep, maybe a glass of wine, talk to my man and my kids and my rabbit. I don't have time for all this partying right now. I can't party like I used to, maybe. But when they said, please go, like, you look, I'll go. And I was like, okay, I can go there once. And guess what time I got home? I
3.
got home, no, almost 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
What?
I was in here like, we've been out dancing and stuff, and we just like talking, and all of a sudden, like, we ain't got home until like almost 4. Cause they drove me home. I ain't got home until like almost 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I feel like I've been held hostage.
Any words of wisdom?
I don't know how wise it is. I would just say stay in your place. No, I would
Right.
say, know that even if it's fun, it's something you always wanted to do, it is still a job. And just like any job, your mouth will keep you in or they kick you out. So go in there, know your part, like any other job, whether it's a Fortune 500 company, or you hanging burgers outside of Wendy's thing. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you do what you need to do. Be on time. Know what you need to do. And keep all your opinions to yourself unless it's about what you're supposed to be playing. Even then, make sure they want your opinion.
Also, when you leave, even if you don't like someone or they didn't speak nice to you, you always walk out gracefully and humble. You thank the producer or management team for the opportunity. You tell everyone that you work with, hey, it was nice working with you, and you leave. And on that note, that way you walk out with your chin up. Even if someone said something nasty to you, just let it roll off your back and just say, hey, nice meeting you. You know how you feel, but you never, like an old commercial, and I always say this, never let them see you sweat, and never reduce yourself to them, on their level. Just thank them. Hey, nice meeting you. Take care. See you soon. Bye. And that's it.
All right. Well, that was cool, right? You got anything, Shorn?
Like I said, just don't let no one block you from your blessing or even block you from your coin. Because when someone mess up your coin,
You can only be mad at yourself.
yes.
Word up.
Yeah, only you can mess up your coin, and don't let anyone steal your shine, because it's about you and it's your integrity and your character. Don't fall for that, because people, they're testing you, or they think that some people think they're above you, and that's why they do it. It's really their, the way they feel about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So you just don't let anyone belittle you. Just walk out with your chin up and go home and say, oh, see you next time. See you on the next gig, and that's it.
This was a great conversation, guys.
Thanks, y'all. It was good seeing
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. See you
Bye.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.